I'll solicit comments from those who are opposed to the 485B. Give your name and address, please.
Name is Roy Mallette. I live at 6346 East Hat Road in the town of Cicero. I think that this thing is just ill for the town of Cicero. All you're doing is giving big business a break and nailing the small taxpayers to pick up the difference. The 485B was in fact here one time. It was knocked out, I think, by this board. The town of Clay does not use the 485B. Would somebody please explain to me how it works? What percentage do they get off the first year?
Anita, I think you already said that, but would you please repeat it again?
Sure, not a problem. It would be 50%
First year.
for the first year, and also it's a staggered schedule. So it would be for the first, second, and third year. But it's not for the big boxes. It has to be in whatever area that has been designated.
How many years does it last?
10 years.
It goes 50, 45, 40, 35, 30, don't it?
No, that was the old schedule under the county. That's the county schedule. It's not our schedule.
Well, how's yours work?
It works
I mean,
as...
we don't even know what's going on in this town. That's what bothers me. This should be on your website.
Okay, not a
Have you
problem. We're
got
going to look
copies?
into that. We're going to try and get that out there tomorrow. We're going to call our webmaster and take
Well,
care
I
of
think
it.
you're trying to make a decision tonight.
This has been a work product for quite
I'm
some
opposed to
time.
this, and I'll tell you why. The town of Clay was the fastest growing town in years. They never used a 485B. We're going into a 485B to help the big box retailers. Oh, yes, sir, come on. The big box retailers don't care about the town of Cicero. They're interested in bringing their merchandise in a truck, putting the money in the truck and taking it to Arkansas or someplace else. I think it's an awful thing to put this burden on the taxpayers, on the poor taxpayers.
Actually, the way this is structured is to try and give the incentive on areas that are lacking, like a grocery store or whatnot.
Well, you say what you want
That's
to
the
say.
intent.
I'm asking this board. Have you studied this at all, Mr. Ryback?
Yes, I have.
Huh?
Yes, I have.
How does it work again? What's the first year, 50%?
Yes,
Second year,
50%.
50%?
Yes,
Third year,
50%.
fourth year,
40, I believe.
Down, goes down from there, 40, year 5, 30, year 6,
20.
year 6, 20, year 7, 10, year 8, 10, year 9, 10, and year 10, 5%, and then it's taken off. It's removed.
why are you proposing this? The town is growing, it's exploding. We can't hardly drive on the streets anymore. We have trouble getting around. And you want to give tax release to more business?
To the small businessmen.
What?
To the small businessmen.
Where do you have that in this law? I mean, do you have a stipulation in there? You got to be so big or so small or something to get this?
If I may interrupt for a moment, that's where the beauty of this comes in to play with the sectors. The sectors are identifying the types of businesses that are allowed in those geographical areas. I have the book in my office if you'd like to stop by.
Okay. No, I'm very concerned about this because this is just a way of putting more power in the big boys and hurting the small person. It's wrong. It shouldn't be done. You're growing so fast here, we can't even get around town. You've got traffic hazards all over, and you're going to do this in special areas? Come on, don't be special interest, boys. If you're going to do it for the town. Don't do it for special interests. Thank you.
Does anyone else like to speak in opposition? Give your name and address, please.
It's Pat Rizzo, 8856 Beach Road. I'm not in opposition. I just wanted to ask a couple of questions. Again, I'm sorry. Why do you have to have it in special areas? Why shouldn't it be open to the whole town? I'm just curious.
That's the way it was
Why?
before February 2005, which we were getting exemption. Big box stores were taking advantage of this exemption. That's why it was repealed. and we referred it to the current board to make a recommendation to see how we could structure it to target it towards specific areas of their town and small businesses, rather than your big box stores. So that's what this law carves out.
Why didn't you just make a limitation on your big box stores so that after the 10 years were over, they weren't allowed to, what do I want to say, re-ask for it again? I'll give you a perfect example because you guys know how
They can't do that.
Meltzer's, okay? Meltzer's has never gotten off the 485. Every time it's time for him to stop paying a tax, he builds another building. So he's now entitled to it for another 10 years because he's probably grandfathered. I also noticed that you mentioned a few of the streets that are up in Brewerton, and we're going for a revitalization, and to me, I wonder if it's like a special agenda. I guess what I'm trying to say is I'm not against the 485B. I know what Roy's saying, but I was also on the board and we did allow it. And I think it's something that's necessary, whether it's a big box store or a small person trying to come in. It shouldn't be limited. But if you just want to make sure that the big box places don't get it, do it, limit it to 10 years. I'd rather have somebody here for 10 years than not have them at all. And I think you're specifically picking up certain areas that are going to benefit certain people that are going to be revitalizing Brewerton. That's it.
Nina, would you like to address that?
One of the problems too is the intent of the board was actually to look at if we could restrict it to certain size or square footage of buildings initially. So you could say, well, if you're over 100,000 square foot, you wouldn't be at, this law you wouldn't apply for, wouldn't be applicable to you. However, that's found to be unconstitutional, and we could be, sued for that. So therefore, that's why the referral was made to the Industrial and Commercial Incentive Board, i.e. the Board Assessment and Review, for them to make an independent study as to how we should, and this is their proposal. This is what they studied in their, 5 meetings and their 1.5 year review. This is what they're alternative is.
I know what you're saying, but at the same time, I think you should also consider the fact that you can be sued the opposite way for someone who does want to build something that's not in that area, and they're literally being denied their 485B. And it's an incentive. That's what brings whatever you want here, and who knows where somebody wants to put it. Because, like you said, it's going up Route 11 to Brewerton, which, you got a lot of open land there. But you've got a lot of open land in other areas of the town. Again, I think this is discriminatory against certain areas, so.
Well, actually, Meltzer never had a 485B exemption. They were under the county until just this year, this taxable status date of July 1st. They are now rolled section 1. They are no longer under that pilot agreement with the county. And then also with the 485B, the reason why we did it this way is so that people, they already get it at the county level. They already get it, it's a given. The 45B in the real property tax law, you have the choice to have it one way or this way. So we chose this way so we can encourage the economic growth.
No, I'm not against the 485B. I'm against pinpointing areas.
But that's the way it's structured in the law.
Because you mentioned that, I don't know if you have it right there, and you probably have to look it up because nothing around here knows anything. How long has Meltzer been getting 485? How many years?
He never did.
No, the county one.
He never, that one, just as long as that had been built, which was what, 3 years? The past 3 years?
Before that.
They never did on 31.
Yes, they did.
Not while I've been here
It
since
was on the board when they
1999.
got it.